Welcome to a brand new episode on my channel Learn It Yourself. Today we are going to discuss about regular verbs and the irregular verbs. We have come across these terms earlier in my lessons. But today we are going to take a closer look about the regular verbs as well as the irregular verbs. So let's begin. A regular verb follows a general pattern of conjugation. By conjugation, we mean the different forms of the same verb. If you take the verb take, in the first person it would be I take. Second person, you take. He or she, it would be he takes. So here you find that the verb changes its form from take to takes when it is used with he or she, and when the verbs are used in the different tenses. If the verb take is the simple present tense, then the past tense, simple past, would be took. This is what we mean by the conjugation of a verb. There is a pattern that is followed in the conjugation of a regular verb. It would remain the same, whereas an irregular verb has got different forms of conjugations. They do not follow the general pattern. Let's take an example of a regular verb. Stop. Simple present tense of the verb stop would be just stop. The simple past would be stopped. So now we have got the ending ed. Whereas the past participle of the verb stop would be stopped. It would be the same as the simple past tense, which is stopped. So you find that the past participle also ends with ed. This is the conjugation of a regular verb. He stopped the car. So over here we have stopped to be the verb in the simple past, whereas in the next sentence, she had stopped studying after an hour. So in this sentence, it is had stopped. So had stopped is the past perfect tense, and we use the past participle of the verb, which is stopped. If you take an example of another regular verb, which is move, then the simple present tense would be just move. The hands of the clock move constantly. So here move is the simple present tense of the verb. Everything had been moved yesterday. So in this particular sentence, we've got moved, which is the past participle of the verb move. A regular verb has got the endings of ed for both the simple past tense as well as the past participle. Now let's take a look at another group of verbs which follow a different pattern, and they are referred to as irregular verbs. They do not follow the general conjugation of regular verbs. Irregular verbs are divided into four groups. The group 1 verbs refer to those verbs where we've got all the three forms, which means the present tense, the simple past, as well as the past participle. They all remain the same. Some examples of such verbs are hit, set, etc. He hit the bug with a bat. So this sentence is in the present tense, and we've got the verb hit being written in the same way as it is. They hit the gym yesterday. So in the second sentence, we are talking about an action that has happened yesterday, and it is referring to the past tense. So in the past tense, we find that the verb hit remains the same. We find there is no change in the verb. Therefore, you can say that these are group 1 verbs, as we have the simple present tense, the past tense, as well as the past participle to remain the same. The second group of irregular verbs refers to those verbs where you have the verb in the simple present tense to be different from that of the simple past and the past participle. The simple past and the past participle remain the same, and they are irregular because they do not follow the regular conjugation. The verbs do not end in ed in the simple past as well as in the past participle form. Ben led his team to victory. So over here we have got the verb led. It is in the simple past. The base form of the verb is lead. So here you find that in the simple past tense, we do not have the endings ed. Instead, we have just got led. We run before sunset. I ran to the park. They have run away. So in these three sentences, you can observe the verb run. In the first sentence, we've got the verb to be in the simple present tense, which is run. Whereas in the second sentence, it is in the simple past tense and therefore we use ran. Whereas in the last sentence, it is in the past participle form and we have used run. So if you observe, we find that the first case and the third case remain the same. The verb remains same, whereas in the second case, which is the simple past, it remains different. So this is another type of irregularity that is found in verbs. Now we are going to talk about the last group of irregular verbs. In this type of verb, you find that all the three conjugations, which is the simple present, the simple past and the past participle, they all remain different. Look at these sentences. Can you fly planes? The butterflies flew from the flowers. The pilot had flown many flights during his career. So if you observe these three sentences, you find that the verb fly has got different forms of conjugation. In the first case, which is the simple present, we have used fly, and the simple past we have used flew, and finally in the past participle we have used flown. All the three forms are different. Today's lesson was about the regular and irregular verbs, and I hope that you have understood the different groups of irregular verbs. There is no definite way to understand the conjugation of the verbs, but only through practice you can understand the conjugation. Thank you for watching. See you in my next session.